So, this is Nathan Fennell trying to give you some help in some algebra here. We're working on word problems today. We're on the word problems worksheet 2 for those in Mr. Fennell's class. Alright, so number 1, the product of 3 times a number increased by 7 is 43. Find the number. First of all, if you're working on this problem, which I highly suggest on your own, if you're working on this on your own, please go ahead and pause the video, try to work it out yourself, and see if you come up with the same thing that I do. Now, what I'm going to do is to start with the most important part of any word problem, which is the question. It's absolutely important that you go through and make sure, number 1, that you're answering the question when you're done, and 2, that you're phrasing it in that way. So find the number. Well, we want to try to find this number. We're going to do it in 5 steps. We're going to do let, write, solve, check, sentence. So we're going to do all 5 of these steps. Each one of these will be worth a point. So we're going to say let a number. It doesn't matter. We could use n, q, theta, whatever you want. We're going to say let n equal a number. Now, I'm going to put mine in parentheses. You don't have to. But let's go through. The product of 3 times a number. Well, we know that that number is n now, so 3 times a number increased by 7, plus 7, is 43, equals 43. Now, how did I know there was just one number? Because it says find the number in the question. So I knew there was only going to be one let statement. So I have 2 steps. Let, write. Now I want to solve. I'm going to add the opposite of 7 to both sides. Or you could subtract. 7 minus 7 is 0. That's good. That tells me that I am going in the right direction. I'm going to use that identity property of addition. 43 minus 7 is going to be 36. So 3n plus 0 is 3n. Again, multiplicative identity here. And we have n equals 12. Fantastic, we've solved. Now we want to make sure that we've solved this correctly, so we're going to check. Rewrite the equation, but don't put the variable. We're just going to put an open parentheses. So n equals 12, plug in the 12. Now I'm not sure that this is true, so I'm just going to put a little question mark. I think it is. 3 times 12 is 36, plus 7 equals 43. Again, not 100% sure. 36 plus 7, yep, that's 43. So I'm going in the right direction. So I've checked. Now I'm going to write a sentence. Now I have to make sure that I've answered their question. They said find the number. Well, the number is, now is it 43? No, it's very easy to do, very common mistake. Go back to this one. The number is 12. Make sure that you have capitalized first letter and punctuation. So let, write, solve, check, and sentence. And we're ready to go. Let's try another one. If the sum of a number 8 is divided by 3, the result is 2 less than the number. Find the number. Again, I really suggest that you try this on your own. So this would be the time to pause the video, work it out on a sheet of paper, and then compare to see if you got it correct. All right, so I start with the question. Find the number. It's very, very important. If I have not answered the question, I've not done the problem correctly. It also tells me exactly how many numbers to define and how to define them in my let statements. So again, let, write, solve, check, sentence. I'm going to do all 5 steps. Now what do I define? Well, it says find the number. So I'm going to let n, x, y, doesn't matter. Let n equal a number. And for my students, I don't mind using the pound symbol. Just a little way to abbreviate. So let n equal a number. Now I know I only had one number because it says find the number, so those just singular, just one number. So I've let, we're going to write now, if the sum of a number, which was n, and 8, now in this case, the sum is referring to that and. So number and 8 is divided by 3. The result is 2 less than. Remember, since we've got that than, we're going to switch them. 2 less than the number. Find the number. So there's my equation. We've written our equation. Now we need to solve. Now there's different ways of going about that 3 here. What I'm going to do is to distribute that 3. And now I want to try to get rid of those fractions. So I'm going to multiply everything by the least common multiple, which is 3. I'm going to use a trick. Now the trick works if I'm multiplying a whole number by a fraction. If the whole number is divisible by the denominator, then I can simply divide by the denominator and multiply by the numerator. If that doesn't work out, you can simply put it over 1, 3n over 3 if that doesn't work. So let's try it. 3 divided by 3, 1 times n is n. 3 divided by 3 is 1 times 8 is 8. And now I do have to distribute each part. Very, very careful on that. Just because you don't have a fraction doesn't mean you don't have to distribute. So 3 times n is 3n. 3 times 2 is 6. So now, I like to teach my students with a song. First distribute, then combine all of your like terms. We don't have any like terms here that we can combine. Please remember, keep, change, or you will get burned. So we don't have to keep, change. It's an option. It's not necessary. Then get all your variables onto the same side. So I'm going to get the variables on the same side. We've got 3n over here. We've got 1n over here. You just simply need to pick. It doesn't matter which one you get. I'm going to pick the 3n. So to get rid of it, I'm going to use the additive identity. I'm going to try to find the opposite of 3n. 3n plus negative 3n. Now if I do it on the one side, I have to do it on the other. One plus negative 3, they fight. Negative wins. How many? There's 2 remaining. Now 3n, 3 plus negative 3 is 0, which is good. That's what I was wanting because now I can use the additive identity. This is the additive inverse. Those properties are annoying, but they're useful. So now, then get all your variables onto the same side. First addition or subtraction. So I'm going to get rid of the addition here. Add the opposite of that. Use that additive inverse property. 8 plus negative 8 is 0. Get a negative 14 on this side. They join, negative wins, and we get 14. And first addition or subtraction, then multiply, divide. So we're going to divide by negative 2. Okay, so all of that for n equals 7. So looking at the process here, let, write, solve, check sentence. We've just solved, and we want to make sure that this works out right. So we're going to check it. So we're going to rewrite the original here. I'm just going to write it down here so that I can actually see what was going on. And I think that the answer is 7, so we're going to plug in that 7 there. Oops. All right, so got the one over here. All right, so let's plug this in. 7 plus 8, forgot my question mark. 7 plus 8 is 15, divided by 3. I'll go ahead and work both sides. 7 minus 2, 5. 15 divided by 3 is 5, so 5 equals 5. Yes, this is good. We're moving in the right direction. And now I want to write my sentence. Make sure that I've answered the question. It says find the number. So the number is, now remember, it's not 5, it's 7. I'm going to go to this statement. The number is 7. And there you go. Okay. We're going to try a few more, and then I'm going to end this video and pick up on another one, so my file size isn't too big. Number 5, let's try this one. Now again, this is the time where you would want to pause and see if what you do is the same as what I do. Again, there's no shame in working the same problem several times and make sure that you get the problem correct. Okay. Again, I'm going to find the question, find the number. That's very, very important here. Let, write, solve, check, and sentence. Okay, so let's find this number. Well, first we have to let. This statement's indicating we have one number that we're looking for, so we're going to just do one let statement. Let n equal a number. Again, using the pound sign just as a quick abbreviation. So we've let. Now we need to write. A number, n, increased by 5, is the same as, that's 37, decreased by 7 times the number. All right, so let's try to solve this again. My little song, if you're interested, curious in the song, it is based on Elvis's Love Me Tender. First distribute, then combine all of your like terms. Please remember, keep, change, or you will get burned. Then get all your variables onto the same side. First addition or subtraction, then multiply, divide. So that's what we're going to use here. First distribute, can't do that. Then combine all your like terms. Like terms are indicating on the same side. You notice on this side there are no like terms. On this side there are no like terms. Like terms would mean having the same variable combinations. So since we don't have like terms, we'll move on. Please remember, keep, change, or you will get burned. That's not really applying to this situation, but we could go ahead and use the definition of subtraction there. So now, first distribute, then combine all your like terms. Please remember, keep, change, or you will get burned. Then get all your variables onto the same side. So we're going to do that. Negative 7n, n, doesn't matter which one we get rid of. I'm going to get rid of the negative 7n. So since it's adding, we're going to use the additive inverse property. The inverse of negative 7n is positive 7n. I'm trying to get a 0 there and use that additive identity property. N plus 7n, remember you could put a 1 there if you'd like. That'd be 8n plus 5. Negative 7n plus 7n is going to be 0. All right, and then get all your variables onto the same side, first addition or subtraction. So I'm going to get rid of this addition here. Plus negative 5 plus negative 5. And again, use the additive inverse. 5 plus negative 5 is 0. That's good. That means I'm heading in the right direction. If I had negative 5 plus negative 5, that'd give me negative 10. That would mean that I'm not heading in the right direction. 37 plus negative 5, 32. And then multiplicative inverse, divide by 8 here. Really, multiplicative inverse would be 8 times 1/8, but again, that's a different form of this. 8 divided by 8 is 1. That's good. It means I'm headed in the right direction. First, I'm trying to get the additive inverse, and then I'm trying to get the multiplicative inverse. And n equals 4. So good, we've solved. Actually, we've written the statement here, and now we've solved it. Now let's check this. Let's see how this is going. So I'm going to write this completely over with parentheses, open parentheses instead of the variables. Getting a little crowded over there. Now, plug back in, I think that n is 4, I believe. A little question mark because we're not 100% sure. And let's see how this goes. 4 plus 5 would be 9. 37 plus negative 28. And let's see, 37 plus negative 28, that is indeed 9. So we've checked it. This looks good. The only problem sometimes with a check is that you, if you had written the equation down, incorrectly, then you're checking the wrong equation. But usually that's a good sign. So let, write, solve, check, sentence. Let's make sure we go to the original question. Find the number. Have we found the number? Yes. Now, is it 9? No. That was from the check. You're going back to the variable. The number is 4. All right, and let's try one more problem for this video. This is an interesting one. This is more in geometry. But let's go ahead, and if you are trying this on your own, which I highly recommend, you can either do it multiple times. Go ahead and pause the video here. All right, let's see how you do it. It says, if blah, 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 find the measure of each angle. That's really what the question is. That's really the question. So, find the measure of each angle. So this is the first let statement that we've had so far where we're going to have to define more than one let statement. So if the measure of one of two complementary angles, that's important. So we know we're defining two complementary angles. Let's go ahead. Let, so we're dealing with angles, so A, let A equal the first angle, just using that abbreviation. Now, how are we going to find the other? Well, it says the measure of one of two complementary angles is 3 more than twice the other. Well, we went ahead and started in any of these problems. If they're comparing two things, I would go ahead and define one of them so you have some place to start, and then you can compare using the word problem. So it says one of them is 3 more than twice the other. So 3 more than twice the other. Now, there's more than one way to do this problem. This is how I prefer to do it, but that doesn't mean that there's not another way. So I've got two different angles here. Now, they don't tell me anything else except that they're complementary. Now, that's not them saying that they have a nice shirt on. It's a different kind of complementary. In this context, complementary, you can write a C. Supplementary, you can write an S. You can put a little slash through both of them. You notice the C is looking like 9 for 90 degrees. The S looks like an 8 for 180 degrees. This is a classic problem where you're going to have some prior knowledge. You're going to have to know what complementary angles are before you move into the problem so that the problem will make sense. So 90 degrees, 180 degrees. In this case, complementary means that these two will add up to 90 degrees because they're complementary. So A plus 2A plus 3 equals 90. How do I know that? Because they are complementary. Get my 5 steps here. Let, write, solve, check, and sentence. Okay, so we've put our let statement down, and we want to double check. It says find the measure of each. Well, that means there's more than one. How many? There's 2 of them. So I have 2 let statements. That's good. That means my let is correct. I have to match that with the original question. Now I've written my equation. Now I need to solve it. So first distribute. There's no distributive property here. Then combine all of your like terms. So I can do that. There's a 1 there. It's optional. 1a plus 2a would be 3a. First distribute, then combine all of your like terms. So we've combined our like terms. Please remember, keep change, or you'll get burned. We don't need that. Then get all your variables onto the same side. We've already got the variables on one side. We've got the a. First addition or subtraction, so we need to get rid of the plus 3. And add the opposite of that 3 is negative 3. Three plus negative 3 is 0. That's good. We're heading in the right direction. 90 plus negative 3, 87. Okay, first addition or subtraction, then multiply, divide. So we're going to divide, do the opposite of multiplication there, divide by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 8 divided by 3, 2, with remainder 2. 3 into 27 is going to be 9. So A equals 29. So we think we're on the right track here. Let, write, solve. We've done a third step here. Now we want to check. So take my original equation here, and I'm going to put open parentheses where any of the variables were. Now, since I'm putting a parentheses here, I'm going to turn these parentheses into a bracket. Now, it doesn't really matter. It's just going to help me keep track of which parentheses goes where. So as confusing as that looks, all I've done, I put open parentheses where that variable was. I changed these to brackets because I knew there was going to be parentheses there. So I've just rewritten everything with open parentheses where the variables were. Now I plug in the variable. And pull a question mark because I'm not 100% sure. So 29 plus, let's see, 2 times 20 would be 40. 2 times 9 would be 18. 40 plus 18, 58. Again, I'm still not 100% sure. 29 plus 58 plus 3, 61. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but I like to put these parentheses around the variable statements and the lets. The reason I like to do that is because when we come back to the let statement, I can very quickly see what the two are supposed to be. I had parentheses around the A. Well, guess what? A is supposed to be 29. That's one of the two angles. Here, 2A plus 3 is supposed to be the second angle. Well, 2A plus 3, that is 61. So it tells me very quickly which one is which. So 29 plus 61, those are the angles that I think these are supposed to be. Do they add up to 90? Well, 60 plus 20 is 80. 9 plus 1, 10. 80 plus 10 is 90. So that does work. This is good. This is very good. Sentence says find the measure of each angle. So I need to answer them. I need to say, okay, the angles are 29 degrees, since we're in geometry, and 61 degrees. And we're ready to go. Again, thank you for watching, and I highly suggest go through, try some of these problems, pause the videos, and try each one of them. If you don't get the correct answer, try them more than once. That's what you're going to do to be able to build up some natural speed and to make sure that you understand what's going on.